helpline that you can call to get information about local resources.
Yeah, this call center takes 90 calls a day, responding to questions from food pantries to opioid addiction and mental health. Director Rachel Gundacker joins us this morning to talk more about the service.
Hi,
good morning.
thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So this line really covers a gamut of things. What can people call in to get help with?
Sure, so really anything. How I like to describe it is if you have a problem or an issue and you're wondering, are there any resources out in the community that could help? You can call us and we can tell you. We can say, yeah, here are these 3 places you could go, or maybe not exactly that, but perhaps here's an alternative solution.
It may be obvious to you, but why was this started? Like, what was the impetus, and why is it still in existence? I mean,
Sure.
90 calls a day, that's a lot.
So I think it started actually in a library in Atlanta, but it kind of morphed into this new service. And the reason behind it is that there are so many nonprofits in our area, right? There are so many government agencies and nonprofits doing great things in the community, but if people can't connect to them, then they don't get help. So that's really what we do, is we bridge that gap. People can call us and we can connect them with the agency doing the great work.
So there have been a couple of instances in which this line has helped folks. One of them most recently was the Sun Prairie explosion. What were you guys able to offer during that?
Sure. So during the Sun Prairie explosion, the police department emergency management reached out to us, and we were able to tell people calling in, you know, where they could go to get access to their home and at what time. And
Sure.
It was a good service for us is when the emergency management or police departments, whomever is feeding us information, and then people can just call one number to access that info.
And you guys, rather than them, who are
Right.
they're already dealing with so much at that point. So
Yeah.
what a resource to have there. Another thing, we were talking about this during the break, is, and we've been talking about it all morning actually, is
Yeah.
the flooding last
Yep.
summer, and just what kind of devastation we saw there. What kind of calls were you taking last summer during all of this?
So we did all of the intake forms for people reporting their flooding damage, and that was for emergency management. And we actually did it statewide. So we activated all of the 211s across the state. We were all taking those calls and filling out those forms for folks. And the lift there was for emergency management. So instead of those individual emergency managements in every county taking those calls, we were able to do it in one centralized place.
Let's talk a little bit about getting in touch with you folks in the
Sure.
first place. You not only can call, but you can text, right?
Yep, you can text your zip code to 898-211, and you can talk with someone via text about whatever resources that you need.
And we want to make sure people know this is not just something in an emergency that, you know, in a natural disaster like we saw, or the explosion. I mean, this is something accessed all the time, year round, right?
Totally. And 211 Day, so February 11th, is a really good day to talk about all of the services that we do, not just when we're in the news because of flooding or the Sun Prairie explosion, but really just our everyday caller who needs a food pantry or rent assistance or a support group or a place to go for an addiction. So really anybody can call us anytime. We're 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we serve the whole state of Wisconsin. So while our call center takes about 31,000 calls a year, throughout the state we take over 200,000 calls.
Wow.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, Rachel, thank you for coming in,
Yeah,
and thanks for bridging the gap for all of us out there. It can be
Totally.
overwhelming. So thank you so much.
All right, 6:18.